Most people think of dividend investing as this slow, ineffective way to build wealth, but in my experience so far, this has been far from the truth. I've been a diehard dividend investor for the last few years, and in this time, not only has my portfolio outperformed the market, but I've made more passive income than I ever thought I would, and I didn't even have to lift a finger. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how much money I've made with dividend investing these last 3 years, and we'll also take a look into the future to see how my dividend income will continue to grow over the next couple of decades, which is going to be pretty mind-blowing, so buckle up. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University, but we'll talk more about that later. Now, in case you're new to the channel, my name is Ryan Williams, and here we strictly talk about dividend stocks and how you can invest them to create passive income and reach financial freedom. So if you love dividend stocks and if you're on a mission to retire early, then hit that subscribe button. I'd love to stay in touch as we both continue to grow our portfolios and collect that cash flow. Also, leave me a comment below and let me know, how long have you been investing for? I'd be curious to hear where you're at in your investing journey. Anyway, guys, when I first got serious about investing for myself, I had a Charles Schwab portfolio already, and it was valued at about $7,600, and most of the money invested in this portfolio actually wasn't in dividend stocks. Instead, as you can see, I had companies like Berkshire Hathaway, CRISPR Therapeutics, both of which I actually did really good on. I also had Golden Valley Bank, which is a community bank out of Chico, California, near my hometown, and I also had PG&E, which I ended up selling for quite a big loss. But then at the time, back in 2020, I also had a portfolio on Robinhood that I was working on that was valued at just over $6,600. And as opposed to my Charles Schwab portfolio, this one was more dividend focused, and I had companies like AT&T, Starbucks, ExxonMobil, Bank of America, and Procter & Gamble, some of which I still have. Some of these positions I have sold out of, but with these two portfolios combined, I had a total of about $14,000 invested. And at this point, when I was getting started that first year, in any given month, I was bringing in anywhere from about 50 cents on the low end of dividend income to almost $26 by the end of 2020, which is quite a big range, but those higher months started to make the light bulb turn on in my head. And I began to understand, if I keep doing this and if I switch up my portfolio and go all in with dividend stocks, then I bet I could get this dividend snowball to grow a lot quicker and a lot bigger. So that's exactly what I did. Sometime around the start of 2021, I combined my two portfolios and decided to fully commit to dividend investing, and I immediately noticed a huge difference. And keep in mind too, like, I don't have a background with this stuff, guys. I didn't go to school to learn about finance. But in hindsight, considering how much I love investing now, that probably would have been a good thing for me. And on that note, I want to tell you about today's video sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University. Now, as someone who actually didn't finish college and most certainly wasn't after a degree in finance when I was going, there are times where I don't feel the most qualified to talk about some of the topics we cover here on this channel. Because of that, I'd be lying if I said I'd never thought about going back and finishing my degree. And if you feel the same, if you feel like your experience is holding you back from pursuing the career that you really want, then I am so excited to tell you about today's sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University. SNHU has one of the largest accredited nonprofit online degree offerings in the country, and I want to talk to you specifically about their finance program. In this program, you'll learn to identify long-term corporate investment opportunities to increase shareholder value. You'll learn to apply theories of asset allocation, security analysis, and portfolio diversification to efficiently manage an investment portfolio. You'll learn to utilize the rules and regulations for financial accounting and reporting in a global economy. You'll learn to generate financial records and financial statements for users in accordance with governing rules and regulations. And you'll learn how to analyze, interpret, and communicate financial and accounting information to internal and external stakeholders. SNHU is radically affordable, with their tuition rates being some of the lowest in the nation. Also, when you go to request information about one of their 200 plus different programs, a real person will hop on a call and discuss how the program can benefit you personally. To learn more, go to snhu.edu/Ryan or find the link in the description to see what the current average annual salary is for someone with a finance degree and to request more free information about the program. It only takes one click to find your calling, so once again, go to snhu.edu/Ryan. In 2021, I went from making 50 cents a month in dividends to making over $100 in a month, which is quite a big jump, and this happened for the very first time in August of that year, and I even almost hit $150 a few months later that November. Now, on an annual basis, this took my dividend income from just over $100 in 2020 to almost $1,000 just a year later. Seeing that tremendous amount of growth absolutely put me on cloud nine, and being able to see that income grow higher and higher throughout the year was like the best feeling in the world, and I didn't have to lift a finger for this to happen. That's the craziest part. Furthermore, I began to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it really hit me that if I can just stay consistent and keep investing in my portfolio, then being able to retire and live off my dividend income isn't a matter of if it will happen, It's a matter of when. Anyway, this brings me to where I'm at now in my portfolio, guys. 2022 was a record year of income, totaling $1,700 for the entire year, and in every single month I made over $100, which is insane, with my highest month being in November, where I brought in over $200 of dividend income for the very first time. In total, since March of 2020, I've made exactly $3,187.53, and just in the next 12 months alone, I'm forecasted to make over $1,900, which will undoubtedly grow as I continue to consistently contribute to my portfolio. And that's the great thing about dividend investing. Sure, it starts off slow, and when you first get started, the dividend payments aren't very exciting. But even if it's just a penny you're making that penny in your sleep. And if you just keep at it, that penny will grow into a dime, which will then grow into $1, and then $100, and so on and so forth. And like I said earlier, in these 3 years that I've been consistently investing with the help of all of this dividend income, my portfolio has actually beat the market. Looking at my portfolio performance here on Charles Schwab, which is the brokerage that I use to invest, in the last 3 years, since March 1st of 2020, my portfolio has a rate of return of nearly 42.5%. And comparing this performance to the 3 major indices, the S&P, the Dow Jones, and the NASDAQ, we can see that it's beating all of them. And if we look at this on an annual basis, this means that across the last 3 years, every single year on average, my portfolio has generated a rate of return of about 12.5%. But anyway, now that we're all brought up to speed, I want to give you a glimpse as to what this portfolio might look like as I keep investing 10, 20, 25 years down the road. And in this example, guys, we're going to use the market beat dividend calculator, and I have my portfolio starting value right here along with its current dividend yield. Here I'm also accounting for a 7% increase in dividends every single year along with 6% share price appreciation. And every single week I invest $150 into this portfolio, which comes out to $7,800 invested every single year. Now looking at the results, if I just keep investing for 10 years, guys, by the end of the 10th year, this portfolio should be bringing in just over $10,000, which is pretty slick, and it should have a balance of just over $230,000. So that's quite a bit of growth compared to where it's at now. If we keep this up for another 10 years, by the end of the 20th year, this dividend income is almost going to quadruple and will be sitting at about $37,000. And the portfolio's overall balance will triple and be near $750,000. So that's pretty insane. And then guys, if we just go 5 more years, by the end of that 25th year, the annual dividend income goes from about $37,000 to almost $67,000. And furthermore, just in 5 years, that portfolio balance will almost double and be sitting near $1.3 million after 25 years. Now, if you're looking at this thinking, geez, 25, 30 years sounds like a long time to retire off dividends, then there is a quicker way to get there than how I'm doing it. And in this next video right over here, I'm telling you what the fastest way is to retire off dividends, and I'll also share with you why the fastest way might not be the best way. So click right over here to check that out, and I'll see you in the next one.